Good afternoon, judges, and hello everyone. Today, we are the affirmative team. On the motion, a strong ASEAN identity will diminish the individual cultural identities of each ASEAN nation. Please let me introduce myself and my team member first. My name is Thananan as a team leader. Ms. Piyatida Waradatanagun is our first affirmative speaker, and today she will be talking about using English as an official language, which only affected the local language, will lead to the diminution of the cultural identities of each ASEAN nation. Next, Ms. Nishakan Hongsupan is our second affirmative speaker, and she will tell us about how our lifestyle will change after being part of ASEAN community. First, I would like to define some important terms in the motion. ASEAN, or Association of Southeast Asian Nations, is a regional-based international organization including 10 member countries. Identities means characteristics, feelings, or beliefs that distinguish one from the others. In 2015, we are welcoming ASEAN community, and I strongly believe there are going to be some changes happening among our ASEAN member countries. Don't you think? A regional integration of political and economic system will only be successful if citizens perceive it as a system they will strive to become part of and prosper within. Creating a sense of belonging and consolidating unity of diversity and enhance mutual understanding among ASEAN nations about their culture, history, religion, civilization will certainly diminish an individual cultural identities of each ASEAN nation. After 2015, the changes in language and people's lifestyle will certainly occur. Nowadays, there are 12 languages being spoken among ASEAN nations. To communicate with the people in other ASEAN countries efficiently, English will play a significant role as it is an official language. Let me use Thai language as an example to clarify my point. For a long time, Thai has our great pride in our own language since we are the only country that speaks it. But now, I can see more and more mixing up English and Thai words used by teenagers. Our next generations might probably unable to use Thai perfectly in comparison to our past generation. And if this is not strong enough to support the idea that a strong ASEAN identity will diminish an individual cultural identities, just think about how much our lifestyle had changed after we accept other culture. Last month, in my hometown, Nakhon Sawan province, we have just celebrated a very big event, and yet I am talking about Chinese New Year. Have you guys ever noticed how big this event is? It's maybe even bigger than our Thai New Year celebration. And I cannot imagine how many changes will happen after we becoming part of ASEAN community. And eventually, an individual cultural of an ASEAN identity will certainly be diminished. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, adjudicators, member of the opposite house, ladies and gentlemen. We are the debater from the Pityakum School. May I introduce myself? My name is Mภาพ I am the leader of the opposition side. Before I start my debate, let me define the key term that's used in this motion, which is the responsibility of the government side, but she failed to do it. The key words that used in this motion is identity. Identity is the characteristic which recognized by the member of a group. And second, cultural identity. Cultural identity is the feeling of being in the member of a group based on your culture. And third, diminish. Diminish is a word that means reducing, not completely disappear or remove. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the agreement that support that The strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity. There are 1. Hiring people. There is based on their skill, not their culture background. Second, language is a soul of culture. And third, there is no clear definition of ASEAN identity yet. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let me discuss the first reason. Hiring people is based on their skills and their academic qualification, not their cultural background. For example, as you can, according to the World Economic Forum, that Singapore is one of the wealthiest country, not in ASEAN but also in Asia. There are many races there. They are Malaysian, Singaporean, Chinese, and Indian. But every people there, they have the same opportunity to get a job and be employed. Because if the company focus on the cultural background, that means and that it will result in the racial discrimination. And one more thing, the practical way to promote unity in the diverse community is to practice tolerance and acceptance of cultural differences. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly believe that strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity. And what I just said is just the first reason of many reasons we have that to prove that we are right of this debate. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you something. What is the Thai word that we more frequently use? Sawadi, isn't it? What if Salamat Pagi replace Sawadi in the near future? By the way, Salamat Pagi means hello in Bahasa Indonesian. Would we Thai people feel like we are losing our cultural identity? The ultimate goal of becoming the ASEAN community is to unite all the member countries to be under one ASEAN roof, eliminate border between each country. What we will see very soon is that travelers would be able to travel within the ASEAN community without a visa. It means more people come and go. ASEAN have diverse culture, especially in terms of language. In Singapore alone, people speak 4 languages. Therefore, why we do have one ASEAN official language? For example, if you go to Vietnam and no one could communicate with you and no one can use the same language with you, how hard your life would be. And let's imagine if you go to the US or somewhere in Europe. What is the language that people use the most? Of course, English. And as the leader of the opposite side team that she said, diminish mean like completely not mean completely disappear. What I would like to say that Thai culture will not disappear, but they gradually reduce its importance. English is lingua franca. Do you know what that is mean? Lingua franca is mean like the language that people all around the world could understand, or they use it, they understand. English will be commonly used among the ASEAN nations, including Thailand. More English-speaking television channels will be available as more and more foreigners come to live in Thailand. So, as a result of Thai language would be gradually reduce its importance as we try to adjust ourselves into that environment. And I think students might have to study all the classes in English except Thai language. So we have to be open-minded if our next generation could not speak or write or read Thai as perfectly as the previous generation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, educators, members of the government side. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sarobon Montrira. I am the second speaker of the opposition side. First, let me point out the weaknesses of the agreement that she said about what if in the future we use another word to greet each other instead of the word Swaddi. So, ladies and gentlemen, based on the history, Thailand has been trade with the Western country for a long time, like for 100 years ago, and we have been accept and adapting the many of the Western culture. But what you see today, we still greeting Swaddi, even we have been like trade or exchange many things with the Western, but it's still we use Swaddi because it's our identity. So now, let me continue my agreement. This side of house strongly believe that the strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity of each ASEAN nation. Why I say that? Have you ever heard that the language is a soul of the culture? Before preserve any cultural, first thing you have to do is to preserve the related language. And language bring the different cultures together, and it provides new opportunity for the old language to flourish. And learning a language is mean that to live in the world in a different way and see it in the different eyes. For example, local dialect, Thai local dialect, it depends on how their lifestyle is. For example, in the north part of Thailand, they speak very slow. It doesn't mean that are kind of slow person, and it's like because they do everything very carefully. But in the south of Thailand, ladies and gentlemen, they speak very fast because they have kind of fast routine. And we go on to the international example, like USA and the Singapore. They have different language, different religions, and different race. But you see, they still have the kind of unique identity. So, ladies and gentlemen, this side of house strongly believe that strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity of each ASEAN country. Thank you.
Good afternoon, judges, ladies and gentlemen. I think what she says is very interesting, but from what she said, we have been trading with the Western culture for a long time, and we still say "Sawadee ka" as a greeting word. But I think we say hello when we answer the phone, don't we? And as we already know, next year the wall between each ASEAN nation will be lowered. Job opportunity will be available among ASEAN nations. That means Thai people can go work in the other country, and then they can also come to get job in Thailand. As traveling will become more convenient, the movement of culture will be happening automatically. People from different countries will be easier to meet, especially with economic attraction. There will be more people come and get jobs in this region. Imagine being surrounded by people of different culture in a foreign country. Would you be able to maintain your own culture? Here, let me give you an example of the first migration of Chinese to Thailand. Decades ago, the Chinese migrated to Thailand and set up strong Chinese communities. I still remember how my grandfather wore his Chinese-looking costume and drank his hot tea every morning. There was always a Chinese newspaper on the table at home. I also remember how my grandfather communicated with my parents and his friend in Chinese. Now let's take a look at us. I'm just the third generation of my family, but I know almost nothing about Chinese. My lifestyle is completely different. I feel like a Thai person more than a Chinese. Even my ancestors are Chinese. Actually, all of my ancestors are Chinese. As the time passed, I find using fork and spoon more convenient than using chopsticks. I don't read Chinese newspaper. I don't wear any Chinese costume. As the time passed, the quality of being Chinese in my family has slowly diminished. The Chinese migration is a very similar case to what will happen in the near future of ASEAN community. Since more people will go work in the other country, they might set up their family there, and then they might mating and have child. Since we all are Asian, it is hard to distinguish one from another because we are so similar appearance, and it will help our culture blend in together easier. In conclusion, when people stay together in the same place at the same time, they will share their behavioral patterns and finally develop a new one that will contain a little bit of each culture together. Just like me, when I have a little bit of Chinese, but I also have a lot of Thai. And Singapore is one of the very interesting place because most of people in Singapore are migrated there, and now you still can see they are Singaporeans, and you hardly tell the difference between who from Malaysia, who migrated from India, who migrated from China. It is hard to tell. As a result of becoming a strong ASEAN member, cultural identity of each ASEAN nations are likely to be diminished. Thank you.
As educators, the members of the government house, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yasi. First, let me rebut the argument presented by the government side. As she said that when we answering the phone, some of them like say hello, right? But I'm the one who always says sawadika when answering the phone. And on Facebook, when there's someone's birthday, and I always say Suksavanker. Yeah, and what the government whip said that her family drinking hot tea in the morning. That because of their culture, identity. They are Chinese. See, even they are in Thailand, they don't forget their culture. And so now, let me present the last argument against the proposition. We strongly believe that strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity of each ASEAN nation. 50 years ago, 5 countries was created the ASEAN, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, for ensuring peace and stability. Ladies and gentlemen, it was never about economy or cultural issues. It was only the recent time that ASEAN came up with the idea, in 2015, and see, ASEAN leader doesn't have a clear definition, and how could something affect us if we don't know what it is, what it like, and if we don't know what it is, the government side is not able to convince me or anybody about what ASEAN identity means. And now, may I summarize the arguments presented by our team. We strongly believe that strong ASEAN identity will not diminish the individual cultural identity of each ASEAN nation. First, hiring people is up to their skill, not the cultural background. And second, understand the language. You will also understand their culture. And the last, ladies and gentlemen, if you look through the ASEAN Charter, there is no clear definition of ASEAN identity. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon once again. Now, I will tell you why this side of the house should win this debate. Because what we present to you is based on the fact, and the example that we use is some of them according to the World Economic Forum, based on our experiences, based on our teacher experiences. But the other side, they present only their opinion. They said, I think when you answer the phone, you should answer with, we are answering with
hello, that she said, I think that's just only her opinion. And how could we know that what she said is right? What is the supporter to support her answer and her speech? And to the ASEAN identity is not difficult, it is impractical. If we want to do something to be in a community, that we can be with another side of the world, like EU, that we should show the world that we are able to compete with them. We are like a community, big community, with all 10 countries, to show them how strong we are. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm surely that the information we give you is based on fact, and we should win this debate. We raise our case. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, judges. Again, as a definition of the word diminish that the negative side have said, that it means decreasing, not totally gone. Can you really guarantee that our cultural identities will not be decreasing at all? How can we becoming a strong community if we do not help each other to create our own ASEAN identity and still hold on to our own individual cultures? And they said that we do not have any facts and they're just opinions. Here are some of our facts. By 2015, AEC or ASEAN Economic Community will combine population of over 575 million from 10 different countries, 12 different languages, and not to say how many beliefs and religions. Each nation has their own language, has their own lifestyle, has their own culture. Do you think, are we able to remain our own culture in the way they were after being surrounded by a lot of foreigners? So I firmly believe that a strong ASEAN identity will surely diminish an individual cultural identity. And furthermore, that they say we do not have a clear definition of ASEAN identity. But if you think clearly, the ASEAN motto, it say, one vision, one identity, one community. That means we are creating our own identity, one identity for ASEAN identity, not just like hold on to each culture and not like creating our own together at all. So I would say that becoming a part of ASEAN community will surely affect our own culture. We are trying to create our own ASEAN identity. And I would say the stronger ASEAN identity is, the weaker and individual culture of each ASEAN nation will be. Thank you all the judges. Thank you very much.